Hello, everyone. My name is Mistofer Christopher. And if it's hard for you to pronounce, you could just call me Mr. Chris. Mistofer Christopher is my pen name. So I'm a history teacher, history nerd, uh, museum nerd. I'm a New Yorker without the attitude. Well, maybe just this much attitude. So this is my first class with you all. And maybe we won't say class. Maybe we'll say workshop, right? How many of you even like social studies or history? A lot of it has to do with either the teacher you had. Sometimes, if it's a good teacher, they inspired us. But on a scale of 1 to 10, you could put it in the chat below. Um, one being low and 10 being high. How much worth would you give to history? How much do you like it? And please do not say those dreaded words. I've heard it all day today. You know, the dreaded numbers. Anyway, some say 5, 4, 2, 10, 15. But if I were to give you a plane ticket to anywhere in the world, where would you go? I'll give you a $30,000 budget. You have a place in your mind? And before you go, what would you need to know before you go to this place? Take your time. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? You can put it in the chat below. What are the things that you need to know? Would you say language? Would you say money, food, weather, customs, safety? Maybe you need a bucket list of places to visit. Well, everything you just listed could be encapsulated into social studies, you know? So let's look at it. Let's look at the definition of social studies. Check this out. It says, this is from the National Council for the Social Studies website. It says, social studies, the integrated study of the social sciences and humanities to promote civic competence. Social studies provides coordinated, systematic study drawing upon such disciplines as anthropology, archaeology, economics, geography, history, law, philosophy, political science, psychology, religion, and sociology. It's a mouthful, isn't it? Would you say history, money, food, culture, weather, all those things are all wrapped up when you visit someplace? Yes. So, social studies is the study of individuals, communities, systems, and their interactions across time, and it prepares you for life. Growing up, there were three magazines that were staples in our house, and they'd come in the mail. Two of them are famous. You see them on jw.org. But the third was National Geographic. I loved National Geographic. I would spend hours looking in there. So, you got your place in mind? Now, when we go to your place, three things. What do you absolutely have to see, absolutely have to do, absolutely have to eat? So put in the chat your town, your country, your village, your city. What do I absolutely have to see, do, and eat? And I'll read all comments and I will respond. Maybe you're thinking, what does this even mean? Well, absolutely have to see. Maybe famous monuments, natural wonders, museums, maybe things that are off the beaten track. Something that you absolutely have to do, maybe a unique experience to your area, maybe a class learning something cultural or learning how to cook something, or maybe a transportation. I don't know, experiencing nature. Absolutely have to eat local foods, traditional meals, holiday dishes, maybe fruits that are native to your location or a style of cooking from the north, the south, the east, the west. Think about it. In New York, what do you think that you have to eat when you come to New York City? Well, people always say you got to have a New York City bagel. You got to have a pizza, right? New York City bagel, you have to have a pizza, you have to have a hot dog. But there's more to New York City besides pizza and hot dogs, all right? So once you figure that out, there's one more item that's very, very important to know when you go traveling. And it's all wrapped up in this social studies, history, and culture smorgasbord. All right. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to show you what it is. Okay. See if you can figure it out. Let's look at our first image. Can you figure it out? Let's pull it up right now and see if you can figure out what we are trying to tell you or show you. What's the word? What do you see there? Can you figure out the country or the part of the world it is? Maybe you're thinking, okay, a man sleeping in front of a fan. Okay, what? South Korea is the hint. Here's your next one. You ready? Next image. Fingers crossed. Here's your next image. I think you can figure out the location in the world. Are you getting warm? Here's your next image. We have someone in the country where Europe meets Asia. And it's nighttime, Istanbul. If you haven't guessed what it is yet, this is your last clue. Can you figure out all these clues point to? What word are we looking for? All these various scenes are telling us superstition. What is a superstition? How would you define superstition in your own words? Well, let's look at it. Let's look into the dictionary. Merriam-Webster dictionary says a belief or practice resulting from ignorance, fear of the unknown, trust in magic or chance, a false conception of causation. What are you thinking? Is that how you define superstition? Ignorance feels kind of harsh, right? When you hear that, ouch. But some of it is based on reason. Some of superstitions are based on reason. Let's do it this time. We always do this in our lessons, okay? We are going to do this from time to time in our class, and it's time for what we call a brain dump. I want you in the chat below to write down everything you know about superstitions. Is there a superstition in your country? Is there something that you and your family do? Just brain dump anything that you know about superstitions. You know, in New York, the kids used to say, step on a crack, you'll break your mother's back. This one child said to me, step on a line, you'll crack your father's spine. It's kind of dark, isn't it? In France, one of the superstitions are if you step in dog poop with your right foot, you're doomed to live a life of despair. But if you step it in your left foot, it'll bring you good luck. Isn't that interesting? Do you see the connection, though, with superstitions and travel? Crossing fingers, where does that come from? It's a well-known superstition across Europe and North America. Across, get it? Anyway, it symbolizes wishing for good luck and protection. Cross your fingers. And of course, you can think of the roots where it probably lies into early Christendom, where crossing fingers were thought to invoke the power of what people view as a sacred cross. Where do superstitions come from? Oh my goodness, we're in the negative. I meant to make this 10 minutes, but what you can do is there's an excellent TED Ed video on the source of superstitions. I'll place the link in the notes below. But whenever we travel, it's good to know all these things, and including in it are superstitions. Do you see how it will make travel rich for you? Understanding people, understanding the way they think, understanding what they do. In conclusion, I always like to leave with something. You cannot leave this classroom without something. What is it? You got to take something home with you. What are you going to take home? Well, let's look at our last image for our class. Something big and something small. What is something big you took away from this class? What is something small that you took away? And for our little community, when you share your little ideas about what to eat, what to do, what to see, all that's part of the interaction. So keep up the chat. It'll provoke communication. If you have ideas for new classes too, let me know. I'll be happy to include that in the curriculum. Well, take care of yourself. Hope to see you the next time.